Welcome back. We are at Red Star Raceway for the Bike SA 24 Hour. And after 5 sessions, we decide that our worsening fueling needs to be sorted. So the bike is ridden into the pits and the spare bike's tank is swapped onto our race bike, which isn't quite as easy and straightforward as it sounds. We are, however, soon back on track, and Don sets about clawing back some of the time we've lost in the pits. The conditions are terrible, it's just too hot. But that's not stopping Grant Scott getting ready nice and early for his session. He's a bit rusty at the racing. It's been a while since he rode in the Boxer Cup, but he's soon back up to pace and banging in some properly good times. Soon enough, though, his half-hour session is over, and as he comes back to the pits, it's Jaco, the psycho dealer from Richards Bay, who's out once again. And as soon as that helmet goes on, the red mist descends, and we have a madman on our hands. Thinking he's in a sprint race, the inevitable happens on a rather fast left-hander. That would scare me. Back onto the track. Squeaking of tyres, bit of braking, hold it together, which he does. And will it slow it down? No, of course it won't. Same corner, got it right this time. Harry is looking a little pensive. Meanwhile, Jaco is going bonkers on the brakes again. But fair play, he manages to hold it all in line and keep on track and keep banging out some properly good times. And then it's Harry's turn. Our fledgling racer is about to get himself involved in the biggest dogfight of his short racing career. Look at that, outbraking one, and looks like he's going for the second one, but this is the corner you may remember who crashed a year or so ago. I think he wisely backed out of that one. Gets it all together, and that's not the last of the action. He's catching people, people are catching him, he's overtaking them, they're overtaking him. This is Harry's finest moment. Look at that, that's a proper gaggle of racers, and believe it or not, he manages to work his way through the whole group. But he never can quite throw them off his tail. But unfortunately, everything comes to a bit of an early halt as the safety car comes out for that, which is our old GSR 750 lying in the middle of the track after a particularly big crash. One rider has copped a bit of a fair injury, so the Medivac helicopter is called. But you'll be glad to know that though he is injured, it's just a couple of broken bones and he's going to be absolutely fine. So after 6 hours in such ridiculously hot temperatures, we decide to change the Metzeler rear slick just to be on the safe side and start the session that will take us through the dusk and into the night. There goes our rider off to a comfortable hospital bed. Meanwhile, I'm out there getting a bit of a sweat on. I am, it has to be said, enjoying better grip offered by the fresh rubber. Though it also has to be admitted, I'm struggling to shake off a particularly fast youngster on the GSR 750 that we used to race with. That is, before we got upgraded to the 1000. But my joy is not going to last too long because I start to hear and feel some strange goings on. At first, I can't really work out what it is, but as the lights go down, I soon realise that it's definitely the chain, and it feels like it's jumping around on the sprockets. So I indicate to the pit crew that I'm coming in the next lap and start to take it easy. Unfortunately, that is the sound of disaster. I've got no drive, I've got no clutch lever. To be honest, I've got no bloody idea at all what's going on, so there's no alternative as other riders madly wave at me. I need to get off the racing line and somehow get this bike back to the pits. Back in the pits, team manager Stuart Baker is wondering what's gone on as my lap time creeps past 10 minutes.
Thank you very much. This isn't much consolation because I seem to get a reputation for breaking things. I heard some clattering from the chain when I was on the acceleration, and I thought, OK, I'd better come in the next lap, so I started coasting a little bit. Unfortunately, before I got back, big explosion, chain ripped through the clutch casing, oil everywhere, 2 people crashed on my oil. I'd feel guilty, but I'm too tired. So hopefully the boys can fix it. They're pretty good, you never know.
It turns out the damage really is pretty severe, with a cracked clutch casing and assorted other damages, but Dave Postlethwaite manages a miraculously quick turnaround. And he is rightly applauded for his work. But unfortunately, the damage is even more severe than we think. The pump for the cooling system has been trashed, and now we've got overheating problems. So, those problems are terminal, and they force Donovan to nurse back our battered machine right to the pits, where, unfortunately, it's all over for us. The race carries on, though, with some close racing right through the night. And as dawn finally breaks, we're feeling particularly dejected and jealous of all those who are still plugging away, heading towards the final denouement. Looking remarkably cheerful, considering he's had no sleep all night. The GSR is looking particularly battered, and Red Star Raceway's CBR Fireblade is looking strong. Another bike without a fairing. And here's a man who deserves some applause. Greg Maloney doing the whole event on his own, can you believe? Our sister team on the 750 is still in the race, and they're back in the pits again with a sixth. Yes, that's right, a sixth and final crash. But you've got to respect them and the bike, because they do make it to the finish line. Even in the state it's in there. Can you believe it? More duct tape than bolts. The flag is ready. And in usual tradition, everyone coasts around the final lap just to make sure they make it home. And the sense of relief is palpable. The spraying of champagne and the burning of tyres begins as they celebrate completing a truly remarkable event. Well, they do. Obviously, the bike show doesn't. Still, it's a good day for Suzuki. It's an even better day for Ride-Fast Honda, which takes the overall win, but we head home to drown our sorrows with a large bottle of something tasty. Well, I can't believe it. I was hoping so much to scrub the 24-hour off my bucket list, but we only did 9 hours of the 24. Still, it was a fantastic experience. Harry, why? What's your highlight? Why was it such a good experience, despite the defeat?
Yeah, that was gutting enough. But no, the best thing for me was being able to go out with people of my pace and actually fight with them. Overtake some people, get re-overtaken, pass them again. Actually fight with people rather than just being on the same piece of track as everybody else and everyone just firing past me. Yeah, it was made such a difference to the enjoyment of it. It's
a little bit of a bone of contention, this whole classification system where, you know, there are slower times, quicker times, and you end up... But it's beautiful. I mean, I was a bit of a sceptic beforehand, but it worked absolutely beautiful. Gave you an amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
Donovan, your sort of highlight of the weekend?
Well, you know Jacques at Red Star. He owns Red Star Raceway. He does a lot to help the 24-hour. He works really hard. And I'm glad that after Matt broke our bike, that we got the opportunity to make sure that his bar made a profit.
That was good of us, wasn't it?
Yeah, 16 hours of drinking. And for me, I have to say, well, it was a highlight and a lowlight, is the fact that every time I got on the Suzuki, the damn thing broke.
You are...
I am a jinx at the
You
moment.
are a jinx.
Yeah.
You could at least have broken yourself a bit so we wouldn't have...
And I have to say, the Suzuki, fantastically reliable. It was silly little stuff that went wrong, but we've learned for next year's 24 hour.
That a Suzuki cannot survive a chain going through the engine.
Yeah, not much can, to be honest.
Even a Suzuki can't survive that.
Yeah, you see.
OK, we will be back after this break, and we'll be taking a look at the 24 hour from a slightly different perspective.